At the Yangsheng base, Xiao Hong Lian was still curious about the information Zhang Yi had asked her to provide. She also did not know if Zhang Yi had discovered anything. She was really unclear about why he wanted to access the materials about Yun Kong Yi and Zhang Yixian. Suddenly, a call came in from B and Jun Wu's group. Zombie attack! We are coming to your location for refuge. Prepare yourself. When Xiao Hong Lian received the news, she immediately jumped up from her chair, shocked. Were we told that the zombie issue had been resolved? Why did they suddenly appear? Do they still need to come to us for shelter? However, Meng Sai Yu said, no time to explain, we'll tell you more when we arrive. With that, she hung up. Xiao Hong Lian could only exclaim, hey, hey. Instinctively, Xiao Hong Lian wanted to refuse, but as she thought of the investigation team behind the Jiangnan area, she had to grit her teeth and angrily left the office. At this moment, the Yangsheng base had resumed production, with black smoke rising heavily from the oil refinery. Everyone felt that the time of peace had returned. Little did they know a new disaster was just beginning. Xiao Hong Lian told herself, what has happened again? She called Zhuge King Ting over. He was unaware of the situation and asked, Leader, the base has resumed production for now. Is there anything else to arrange? Xiao Hong Lian shouted, notify everyone immediately, return to the shelter at once. A zombie pandemic is about to occur. Tell them to run away quickly, really quickly, fast, fast, fast. Zhuge King Ting was taken aback. Zombies? Xiao Hong Lian was impatient. There's no time to explain, just go do it. Hurry up. In response to the urgency in Xiao Hong Lian's voice, Zhuge King Ting realized the critical situation and didn't dare to ask any further questions. He quickly went to make announcements for everyone in the oil refinery to evacuate to the underground shelter. Meanwhile, Xiao Hong Lian and her security team maintained order and prepared to welcome the incoming investigation team. Inside the oil refinery, everyone hurriedly left their tasks and moved to the underground shelter. Fortunately, Zhuge King Ting was very clever. He can tell everyone about the return of zombies, thus avoiding a state of panic. As for the other forces, they also received the news at the same time. At Zhang Yi's shelter, Meng Sai Yu also called Zhang Yi. Zhang Yi, we need your assistance right now. The other squads have all agreed to help fight against the zombies. Everyone is heading to Yangsheng. Hurry up and come here. He replied, we will be there shortly. After hanging up, Zhang Yi mumbled, Bayan Junwu and his group cannot die at the hands of the zombies. I still need to take advantage of Bayan Junwu's abilities to eliminate Yun Kong Yi together. Knowing that Bayan Junwu and his group were fleeing to the Yangsheng base, Chang Yi had a plan in mind. He did not want Bayan Junwu and his group to die, nor did he want them to eliminate the zombies, because only Zhang Yi knew that all of this was secretly plotted by the people of the Worship the Snow sect. Therefore, only by eliminating Yun Kong Yi could everything come to an end, and Bayan Junwu's power was indispensable. Zhang Yi stood up from the sofa, began changing into his combat outfit, and then checked all the equipment on him. Once everything was ready, he called Liang Yu and several others, asking them to join him in helping the investigation team break through the siege. Liang Yu's face showed determination. We'll go with you. Although everyone had mentally prepared, no one expected things to develop so quickly. Chang Yi had just returned from the Worship the Snow sect and was already faced with a new crisis. The cat Hoa Hoa was also present to participate in this battle. Zhang Yi said to Chun Lai and the others, don't worry too much. At that time, everyone stay close to me. If we detect any unusual situation, we will use my 2 spatial doors to quickly initiate the teleportation. At that moment, we will leave the battlefield and return to our hideout swiftly. This was like a dose of heart medicine, helping them not to let the emergency situation affect their spirits. Everyone's gaze became more stable. Following a captain with top-level Protect Destiny skills, they felt much more at ease. It didn't matter whether they won or lost. What was important was not dying. Therefore, they began to equip themselves. All right, everyone go change clothes. Let me talk to Kai Nai. Zhou Kai Ni anxiously wanted to go with Zhang Yi. I want to go with you all. Zhang Yi said to Zhou Kai Ni and the others, you all don't be idle at home either. Organize your most important items, pack them up, and place them in the living room over here. If anything happens over there, we will come to pick you up first. No need to bring too much. We won't lack for other things. Each person just needs 1 bag, remember. Zhou Kai Ni nodded. I understand. After you leave, I will talk to the others. The women in the house showed signs of worry on their faces. Zhao Haimei said, then let's pack up quickly. Yang Xin Xin remained calm. She didn't have much to bring, except for a laptop. She raised a finger to remind Zhang Yi. Zhang, don't forget this is our only chance. Zhang Yi slowly nodded. I understand. After preparing their gear, Zhang Yi and the others gathered in the living room to depart for the Yangsheng base to support the investigation team. Chang Yi patted her head. Everyone remember to get everything ready and wait for us in the living room. Zhou Kai nodded. I know. She stood at the door watching them leave, a feeling of helplessness rising in her heart. Until now, except for Zhang Yi and Yang Xingxin, the others had no idea how dangerous this situation was. At the worship the snow sect, when Zhang Yixian saw the news, his brows furrowed tightly. He walked through the wreckage towards the chapel where Yuan Kong Yi was praying. Something happened. Yuan Kong Yi slowly opened her eyes and turned to look at Zhang Yixian. Her clear but cold gaze held a detachment, unlike that of a human. Zhang Yixian once clearly stated, the incident in the Aoshan mountain area was discovered by the investigation team from the Jiangnan headquarters. Hearing this, a hint of surprise appeared on Yuan Kong Yi's face. The 4 words, Jiangnan headquarters, were very threatening to her. At least for now, that was not something she wanted to face. Haven't they left Tianhai City? Why are they appearing in Aoshan? That's why Yuan Kong Yi felt surprised. Zhang Yixian shook his head. I'm not sure either. Normally, even if they are investigating, they should focus on the 5 major powers and then expand from there. After all, those areas are the most densely populated. So, this is not good news. Yuan Kong Yi frowned, unsure whether this situation was random or if someone had deliberately arranged it. Zhang Yixian continued. The Aoshan area is extremely desolate after the apocalypse. It quickly became a dead zone with hardly any signs of life. When the risk of a zombie outbreak occurred, there was also not much activity from the zombies in that area. That's why they chose Aoshan as a hiding place for the zombies. Even though the investigation team is very cautious, they can't possibly check the entire vast city of Tianhai right now. The group of zombies has been provoked and has started attacking the investigation team. They are requesting our assistance. They have fled back to the Yangsheng shelter. Yuan Kong Yi looked up at him. This might be a trap meant to lure zombies in and then deliver a fatal blow to eliminate them, right? Zhang Yixian was not sure either, he said. Only Bloodvine can communicate with the group of zombies. The information I've received is that the group of zombies is indeed causing trouble. Yuan Kong Yi fell silent. She lowered her head to think. Currently, the remaining forces in Tianhai City are not enough to confront us, but I am wary of the strength of the people at the Jiangnan headquarters. Especially the power of Bayan Junwu, a type of power that drains resources from everything. Even Yuan Kong Yi had to respect it. But at the same time, she also yearned to confront them. Perhaps that is why she had given Ice Beat to Bayan Junwu. She had absorbed 36 types of superpowers, but none could compare to the strength of Bayan Junwu. Yuan Kong Yi said softly, if we don't go over, it may raise their suspicions, right? Chang Yixian thought for a moment, then nodded in agreement. You are right. We should go take a look. But it is enough for me to go alone. You stay here. If anything happens, you will be affected, which is best. He looked at Yuan Kong Yi with an expression full of care that he could not hide. It was a profound emotion that was difficult to express outwardly, yet remained deeply hidden in his heart. Yuan Kong Yi did not refuse Zhang Yixian's proposal, even knowing that it could be a trap. But in comparison to his grand aspirations, nothing was too much to sacrifice. Yuan Kong Yi approached and gently embraced Zhang Yixian. You're the best to me. A few minutes later, Zhang Yixian left the chapel. He summoned the remaining priests of the Worship the Snow sect. After briefly explaining the current situation, he began to command the formation. Han Chang, Wu Huan, Lai Kan, Da Mei, come with me to the Yangsheng base to provide support. Tong Jian, Song Yi, Lai Mings, you 3 lead the rest to stay behind and protect. Zhang Yixian had summoned his strongest combatants because the Worship the Snow sect had nothing valuable left to protect. But one he cared about the most no longer needed anyone to protect her. The Worship the Snow sect gathered 8 superpower individuals without regular soldiers heading a snow vehicle towards the Yangsheng base. Inside the church, Yuan Kong Yi continued to pray. It doesn't matter who sacrifices as long as I'm safe. They will surely understand me, right? At the Yangsheng base, Ban Junwu and his team quickly arrived on the snow vehicle. Xiao Hong Lion had swiftly organized everyone to hide in the shelter, but she, along with some soldiers, waited for the investigation team outside. She murmured, "Why haven't they arrived yet?" A soldier exclaimed. "Leader, look over there. Isn't that Captain Bian and the others?" Xiao Hong Lion couldn't hide her horror and shouted, "What? Damn, oh my god." From a distance, they saw a fierce snowstorm sweeping across the field, rolling in from the horizon. They had never witnessed such a situation. Although they had fought against zombies before, they had never seen them so frenzied. Xiao Hong Lion broke out in a cold sweat. Holy shit, what have they stirred up? Xiao Hong Lion's face clearly showed signs of fear. With their remaining strength, they definitely could not handle such a massive horde of zombies. The black snow vehicle entered the Yangsheng base. Xiao Hong Lion immediately led her group over and shouted, "Get over here quickly." The vehicle promptly turned in the direction Xiao Hong Lion indicated. As soon as the vehicle stopped, Bai and Junwu, Bai Lai Chang King, and Kong Sheng quickly jumped out, weapons in hand. Bai and Junwu shouted loudly, "Move into the shelter quickly. There are too many zombies behind us." Without needing an explanation, Xiao Hong Lian and her group could see the horde of zombies closely following them, numerous and encroaching upon the space around the oil refinery. Xiao Hong Lian felt as if her heart was being cut. Her oil refinery seemed to be coming to an end. If the battlefield was established here, the entire oil refinery would surely be destroyed. But now was not the time to worry about that. She used her fire superpower to deal with the approaching zombies, then quickly moved towards the door. The voices of the Yangsheng soldiers were urgent. "Hurry up, we need to run right now." Xiao Hong Lian no longer had any intention of resisting such a large group of zombies. Facing them only meant suicide. The group quickly shot down several zombies in front of them and then retreated to the entrance of the shelter. Some soldiers guarding the main gate shouted, "Hurry up, get in here." Bi and Junwu and his group eliminated a portion of the zombies trailing them and quickly jumped into the main door. Xiao Hong Lian ordered the shelter door to be closed. The door, made of 7 thick and heavy layers of alloy, could not be breached, no matter how many zombies there were, once it was shut. Shortly after the group entered the shelter, the area was completely overrun by zombies. They sensed the smell of living humans and continuously screamed, exerting force against the door. All of this could be monitored through the surveillance system inside the shelter. The group let out a sigh of relief. Bai and Junwu noticed the worried expression on Xiao Hong Lian's face. After all, the oil refinery she had worked so hard to build had been destroyed in an instant. How could she not be upset? Bai and Junwu said to Hong Lian, "I have contacted Zhang Yi, Xing Tian, and Wai Dinghai, along with the members of Worship the Snow Sect. They will arrive here soon to assist. At that time, we will coordinate from the outside to deal with this group of zombies." Xiao Hong Lian turned towards the command center. She said, "From the scale of the zombies outside, it seems to be no less than the time we faced them at Worship the Snow Sect. But now, our combat capabilities are less than half of what they used to be. How can we fight against them?" Xiao Hong Lian stared at Bi and Junwu and seriously asked, "Why not ask for help from the Jiangnan headquarters?" Bi and Junwu replied, "Mobilizing people from the Jiangnan headquarters is not simple at all. Most investigation teams have their own missions. In fact, my team is one of the elite forces of the Jiangnan headquarters. If we can't solve the problem, mobilizing other teams is unlikely to yield results. Unless we mobilize a large force to come here to eliminate the zombies, but that requires orders from the highest level of the Jiangnan headquarters, and the process is very complicated." Xiao Hong Lian closed her eyes, her tone somewhat resigned. "What are we supposed to do now? Just wait to die?" She couldn't blame the investigation team because the zombie threat was an issue that the city of Tianhai had to face. Even if the investigation team didn't come, this problem would have to be addressed sooner or later. Therefore, their arrival to help couldn't be something she complained about. She could only feel distressed. Mei Sai Yu power on the computer and retrieved images from outside the shelter through the satellite system. This is the situation outside. Bi and Junwu and Xiao Hong Lian, along with a group of people, moved closer to the computer to observe the scene outside. From above, the entire oil refinery was densely occupied by zombies. The sight resembled a swarm of locusts covering the fields. Anyone with a fear of crowds would find just looking at it enough to trigger their condition. Xiao Hong Lian crossed her arms and sighed helplessly. "All right, we can't go anywhere now. The Yangsheng base has been completely overrun by zombies. They are gathering outside the underground shelter of the base, roaring and organizing. They are using all kinds of methods to attack the shelter door. Fortunately, this base was prepared for war. Even when attacked with heavy weapons, it would take many rounds of extremely strong attacks to destroy it. With the simple attack methods of the zombies, the base is still not under serious threat. This gives those in the shelter a chance to breathe a sigh of relief. However, considering the current situation, leaving the shelter is incredibly difficult. Although all members of the investigation team are powerful soldiers, they can only deal with a certain number of zombies at a time. Meanwhile, the number of zombies outside has reached hundreds of thousands, including armored zombies and winged armored zombies capable of flying. When these entities gather, they are certainly unable to win. Bi and Junwu frowned tightly, and he suddenly coughed violently. His face was pale, and now it looked even paler. His lips had even turned bluish-purple. The subordinates looked at Bai and Junwu with concern. "Leader Captain, are you all right?" Bai and Junwu waved his hand. "It's nothing, but it seems we need help from the outside. A faint smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. All of the blood had not been fully wiped clean. Now that they are gathered in one place, we can request support from headquarters in the air. Xiao Han Lion pressed on with her question. You mean, we can ask the Jiangnan headquarters to launch a ballistic missile here? She thought to herself, we'll be saved this time. Nothing is more effective than using that kind of weapon. Hundreds of thousands of zombies are gathering outside. A single ballistic missile could eliminate a large number of them. Bi and Junwoo nodded. At this point, we have no choice but to do that. They had been cornered. With the large scale of the zombie horde, there was no way for them to wipe them all out. At the headquarters of Jiangnan Blizzard Base, a tall man in his 50s stood by the window muttering, I wonder how the Bai and Junwoo team in Tanhai is dealing with the zombies. They haven't come back yet. This man wore a green military uniform. With a badge of a general on his shoulder, his hair neatly cut, his face as stern as a chiseled knife, and his eyes sharp like a hawk. He was Zhu Jiang, the highest commander of the Jiangnan headquarters. Although Bai and Junwoo was confident, he did not underestimate the lives of himself and his team. He took out his satellite phone and began contacting his superiors at the Jiangnan military headquarters. With his authority, he could communicate directly with Zhu Jiang. After a short while, the call was connected. Zhu Jiang asked, What's going on? Bi and Junwoo explained the situation. We need assistance. There are hundreds of thousands of zombies completely surrounding our shelter. Zhu Jiang frowned. Has the situation in Tanhai become that serious? After hearing Bai and Junwoo's report, Zhu Jiang's face showed a serious expression. He thought to himself, Bai and Junwoo is one of the elite investigation teams under my command. If they also need to seek assistance from headquarters, it seems that the zombies are about to pose a threat to the Blizzard Base. After all, Tanhai is just over 300 kilometers from the Blizzard Base. If the zombie threat there escalates, it will spread to the Blizzard Base in just a few days. Initially, Zhu Jiang did not consider the zombie problem to be serious. He only sent the elite investigation team to address it, but he did not expect that Bai and Junwoo and his team would become trapped there, even needing to call for help from headquarters. It should be noted that each member of the investigation team is a top Yun person from the Blizzard Base. Zhu Jiang turned towards the command room in the back. A large screen was mounted on the wall. He ordered, Display satellite images around the Yangsheng shelter. Just after a moment, the screen showed satellite images of the area. The computer analyzed the situation of the zombies. Zombies gathered like ants on a vast field of snow, stretching over an area of about 10 kilometers. After tallying, the computer presented the specific number. Total number of zombies, 395,861. Among them, 395,521 humanoid zombies and 340 large-sized zombies. Zhu Jiang felt dizzy. Such a number of zombies resembled a large-scale war. Even using missiles to attack, it would be difficult to eliminate such a large number of zombies. Zhu Jiang's expression was extremely serious as he picked up the satellite phone and spoke to Bi and Junwoo. The number of zombies is too large. It cannot be eliminated with just a few hundred ballistic missiles. Bai and Junwoo understood Zhu Jiang's point immediately. For the major military districts, missiles are an important strategic weapon. Currently, producing weapons is very difficult, and using a missile means losing one. Zhu Jiang cannot use a large number of ballistic missiles just to eliminate a common number of zombies. With such a large number of zombies, the most effective method to eradicate them remains the use of nuclear weapons. Zhu Jiang spoke in a low and cold voice. Zhu Jiang continued, The Yangsheng shelter is located 172 meters underground with very strong defensive capabilities. I plan to directly use nuclear weapons on that area. This way, we can completely eradicate this wave of zombies. Zhu Jiang's decision was strong and resolute. Upon hearing this, Bi and Junwoo's pupils contracted. But he knew that if they did this, the entire city of Tianhai would become a dead zone. Zhu Jiang coldly said, The number of survivors in the city of Tianhai is not many. Sacrificing a few people now to prevent the zombies from spreading to other cities is the most effective measure. Bi and Junwoo knew Zhu Jiang's words were not wrong. Currently, the number of survivors in Tianhai is likely only a few tens of thousands. Using this method would certainly be the smartest solution, but it also meant they would be abandoned as nuclear weapons would create a zone uninhabitable for humans. Bi and Junwoo and his team could not leave the shelter to return to the Blizzard Base, and within the shelter, supplies could not last more than 25 days. After the radiation dissipated, everyone knew they would die underground in darkness without sunlight. Bi and Junwoo understood that at this moment, they could not rely on help from headquarters. Commander-in-Chief Zhu, please give us some time. I want to try one more time. Zhu Jiang listened quietly for a moment and then said, outright, I will give you 24 hours. After that, if the zombie problem is not resolved, I will deploy nuclear weapons. Su Zhang knew that if Bai and Junwoo and the local forces in Tianhai could not solve the problem within the next 24 hours, extending the time would be meaningless. Even as the highest commander of the Jiangnan headquarters, he could not be soft-hearted for a few subordinates at the risk of an outbreak spreading throughout Jiangnan and even the whole country. Bai and Junwoo ended the call. His face remained expressionless, leaving Seo Hong Lian and the others unable to guess the outcome. Seo Hong Lian anxiously asked, "What do they say on the other end? When will the missile assistance arrive?" She placed all of her hopes on the support from the Jiangnan headquarters. Bai and Junwoo looked at her and replied in a deep voice. The headquarters just announced that the number of zombies is too high. They have decided to use nuclear weapons to eliminate them. Hearing Bai and Junwoo's words, everyone around was stunned and couldn't remain calm. Seo Hong Lian shouted, "Nuclear weapons? Those are the forbidden weapons before the apocalypse. Their power is extremely strong, but they will bring radiation lasting for decades. If the city of Tianhai is attacked, this place will completely become a wasteland. Even if there is no direct attack, people will slowly die from the effects of radiation. Even though they were hiding in a solid underground shelter not directly affected, they could not go outside." Seo Hong Lian, furious, with her eyebrows raised, asked loudly, "Why is it like this? Isn't this just a way for us to die underground?" Facing Seo Hong Lian's anger, Bai and Junwoo calmly replied, "Right now, anger means nothing. We need to find a way to deal with the zombies outside. If not, we can only live underground until our supplies run out." He raised his wrist to look at the watch. There are 23 hours and 58 minutes left before the nuclear weapon is deployed. Bai and Junwoo did not care about Seo Hong Lian's feelings. If anger was useful, he was willing to be angrier than anyone else. Seo Hong Lian quickly realized the problem. Right now, it was not the time to worry about right or wrong. It was necessary to unite to address the zombie threat outside. Bai and Junwoo said to Seo Hong Lian, "I need you to immediately provide all the information about the shelter, especially regarding weapons and equipment." Then he turned to Meng Sai-yu. "Make it clear to everyone that if they do not put in their full effort to support this mission, they will all face dire consequences." Bai and Junwoo adjusted his sunglasses, his tone serious. "Moreover, it needs to be communicated to them that anyone who dares to run away in battle will face relentless pursuit from the Jiangnan headquarters." Meng Sai-yu nodded in compliance with Bai and Junwoo's order. "Yes, sir." She knew that at this moment, every part of the strategy was extremely important. Seo Hong Lian took a deep breath, trying to keep her composure. Now, apart from trusting Bai and Junwoo, she had no other options. She called Zhuge King Ting. "Please deliver all the information to him." Zhuge King Ting looked displeased, glanced at Bai and Junwoo, then nodded and went into the shelter to hand over all the information without any objections. Outside, Chang Yixian's mood was even more complex. Clearly, the zombies were monsters created by them, but the situation had developed to this extent, leaving him in a difficult position. They could not fully control the zombies through Bloodvine and the Zombie King, as the process was too complicated. The Zombie King could not understand and execute complex orders, while allowing the zombies to retreat too easily would raise suspicion among other forces. Zhang Yi and representatives from other major forces were on their way to the Yangsheng base, but they moved very cautiously, fearing encounters with the zombies. Each person's mind was filled with complex thoughts, but the most basic principle was no one wanted to die. As Zhang Yixian hesitated, he received a message from Meng Sai-yu. After reading it, his face couldn't help but show fear. He murmured, "Nuclear weapons." What he feared most had finally arrived. The Jiangnan headquarters, with its superior weaponry, could easily wipe them all out. Zhang Yixian could not suppress his emotions and slammed his hand against the car. Shit, he thought to himself, what can I do to protect the investigation team? How can I make the zombies retreat without raising their suspicions? He wondered how the worshippers of the Snow Sect would react upon learning of the threat posed by nuclear weapons. Chang Yixian's eyes glinted with sharpness as if he wanted to kill. He found himself in a dilemma. Meanwhile, Zhang Yi and his team were on their way to the base using a snow vehicle. On the way, he also received news from Meng Sai-yu. At first, Chang Yi was a bit surprised, but he quickly smiled. He thought, I wonder how the worshippers of the Snow Sect will deal with nuclear weapons. He was not afraid of the imminent deployment of nuclear weapons. In fact, he even smiled. Although things were a bit different from what he had expected, overall it was not too far off. On the contrary, the existence of nuclear weapons accelerated the progress he was anticipating. He continued to think, the people of the worship of the Snow Sect will definitely have headaches. They have ways to influence the zombies, but they dare not let the investigation team get killed here. Therefore, they were forced to overlook this massive number of zombies, which was the headache they were facing. At least this zombie issue was resolved. In a short time, they would not be able to create such a strong number of zombies again. At that time, I would have my chance to act. Zhang Yi looked up at the sky and thought to himself, the power of nuclear weapons truly instills fear. In his mind, he envisioned a grim reaper wielding a scythe descending from the heavens, destroying everything in its path. His combat suit was equipped with radiation protection, capable of withstanding low-intensity radiation for a short period. He hadn't prepared for the worst-case scenario. The superpower space was not suitable for long-term living organisms, but avoiding danger for a short time was not an issue. I have about a minute, Chang Yi reminded himself. If he truly sensed that the nuclear weapon was about to strike, he would temporarily hide everyone in the superpower space before launching a counterattack. Although he wasn't sure about its effectiveness, at least it was a method worth trying. The prerequisite was that they had to stay away from the center of the attack zone. Chang Yi took out his satellite phone, reminding Zhou Kai-ni and the others hiding in the basement. Now quickly move to the third underground floor. The city of Tianhai may be attacked. He also informed the people in the vehicle about this news. After hearing this, everyone became tense. Even though they were mute persons, when faced with such a high-level attack, they were no different from ordinary people, fully aware that they could lose their lives. Lian Yu gripped the steering wheel tightly, silent and pondering whether there was a way to turn the situation around. Chang Yi's face turned pale as he whispered, "It's over. This time there really is no way out. Leader, maybe we should run away? 24 hours is enough for us to escape from Tianhai." Zhang Yi looked at the information on the satellite phone and calmly replied, "All right, there's one more thing. They said if we dare to run, the Jiangnan headquarters will pursue us relentlessly." He continued, "You don't really think the zombies are scarier than the Jiangnan headquarters, do you?" Chun Lai immediately turned ashen. Clearly, both choices could put him in danger. Fighting the zombies at least offered half a chance of survival, but if the Jiangnan headquarters took notice, there would be no chance at all. After all, if the Jiangnan headquarters wanted it, they could use their powerful satellite system and the internet to locate them. Chun Lai looked very distressed and exclaimed, "Hey, isn't this putting us in a predicament?" Uncle Wang spoke up. "Do we really have 24 hours to solve this problem? Hundreds of thousands of zombies sound easy, but even if there were a few 100,000 pigs, we wouldn't be able to kill them all in 24 hours. Knowing that there were less than 24 hours left before the city of Tianhai faced a devastating blow, almost everyone felt a tremendous sense of urgency. Zhang Yi leaned back in his chair, his eyes half closed, and slowly said, "Do not worry. This time the zombie problem is not impossible to solve. Just know that those zombies are controlled by Worship the Snow Sect, and everything will become much simpler. They did not expect me to reveal a hiding place of the zombies. Right now, they must be having a headache. But the next trouble is not ours, but theirs." Chang Yi was not at all flustered. He calmly stated, "Next, we need to see how Worship the Snow Sect will handle it. After all, they do not want their nearly completed objective to suddenly be destroyed by nuclear weapons." A dark glimmer flickered in Zhang Yi's eyes. "Everything is developing according to plan, not beyond my expectations. Now let's see if we can achieve the effect I desire." At the Yangsheng base, Bian Junwu and Xiao Hong Lian and their team gathered in the operations command room to begin planning their way out of the siege. With over 300,000 zombies, although exterminating them is very difficult, it is not without opportunity. The survivors are all top-notch warriors. Quickly, a temporary plan was established to eliminate the zombies. The most important thing is to eliminate their command center, which is the Zombie King. Since we are the ones stirring up the zombies this time, they will take the initiative to attack. The Zombie King is definitely located behind the zombies. Bian Junwu continued, "We need to break through the encirclement, locate the Zombie King, and eliminate it. Without its commander, the zombies will no longer be as frightening as before." In front of Bian Junwu was a large digital information board. The center is the Yangsheng shelter. Here, we have a powerful armed force, including various types of automatic machine guns. Using them to eliminate a group of zombies and tens of thousands of monsters won't be an issue. Xiao Hong Lian asked, "How can we break through the encirclement? There are too many zombies, and relying solely on our weapons won't be enough." Bian Junwu pushed his sunglasses up, the image of Zhang Yi appearing in his mind. "We have to rely on him." Wudi crossed his arms and said, "I never expected that at such a critical moment we'd have to depend on him to save ourselves." Before Zhang Yi arrived at the Yangsheng base, his satellite phone suddenly rang. The caller was Bian Junwu. Chang Yi frowned, and the others looked over curiously. He turned on the speakerphone. "Captain Bian, is everything okay? Why did you call me suddenly?" Bian Junwu's cold voice echoed from the phone. "We're still alive, but time is running out. Listen, Zhang Yi, don't rush to help. Go to the beach first and use your abilities to collect seawater." Zhang Yi and the others looked at each other, understanding Bian Junwu's intentions. Are you planning to use super low temperatures to release seawater onto the land to freeze the zombies? Faced with hundreds of thousands of zombies, they had no large-scale weapons to inflict effective damage. But seawater in large quantities was an extremely effective weapon. Most zombies that entered seawater would be slowed down, making their movements difficult and even rendering them no longer a threat to humans. Chang Yi did not hesitate. I will collect seawater. Wait for me for 4 hours. He immediately asked Liang Yu to turn the car towards the East Sea. Meanwhile, Xing Tian and his group had been asked by Bi and Jun Wu to wait at a distance from the Yangsheng base. They had to wait until everyone was ready before launching a joint attack on the zombie group. The most important aspect of this process was the amount of seawater that Zhang Yi would bring. 4 hours passed slowly. Each minute and second felt like torture for those in the shelter. The major forces were also extremely worried and fearful of the emergence of nuclear weapons. Xing Tian, anxious, called Bai and Jun Wu to inquire. How much longer until you arrive? Why is it taking so long? Especially Zhang Yixian. At this moment, he felt very anxious. He did not understand why the investigation team had discovered the group of zombies they had tried to hide. Now he had to make a decision, either abandon the group of zombies in exchange for the trust of the Jiangnan area, or accept everything falling apart and eliminate everyone in Tianhai City, including the investigation team. He thought carefully. It is impossible for the zombies to break through those people in a short time. Moreover, turning against the Jiangnan headquarters is a foolish decision. Clearly, the second option makes no sense at all. After a moment of intense thinking, Zhang Yixian reluctantly chose to abandon the plan to protect himself. He had to give up over 300,000 zombies surrounding the Yangsheng base. Although it was very painful, it was the only way. Zhang Yixian stood at a distance, his cold gaze fixed on the dense horde of zombies, silently thinking, I must act well, not letting him realize that this group of zombies is under my control. The cold wind blew through. He tightened his coat, took a deep breath. The chill made his throat ache. Now I can't do anything else. Ban, Jun Wu and his team are not useless. They won't die easily. I can only stop giving orders, letting the zombies instinctively attack humans. At Donghai, after more than 4 hours of work, Chang Yi finally collected a large amount of seawater into the spatial pocket. He immediately contacted Bi and Jun Wu to inform him, we have prepared the seawater, but we need to find a high spot to pour it down. However, don't expect too much. The seawater can only slow down the zombies. It cannot completely cover the area around the Yangsheng base. Bi and Jun Wu replied, that's enough. Just give us more time to break the siege, and we will have a chance to find and eliminate the Zombie King, the leader of the zombies. After we kill him, the threat level of the zombies will significantly decrease. He continued, according to our search results, this might be the last group of zombies in Tianhai City. After this battle, we will not be disturbed by zombies for a long time. Bi and Jun Wu was determined that after overcoming this danger, he would track down and capture the one controlling the zombies. That person will either join the Jiangnan area or be dealt with. After the conversation ended, Zhang Yi asked Liang Yu to drive to a high location near the Yangsheng base. Liang Yu reacted quickly, turning the car towards the base. From a distance, they could see a huge group of zombies like a dense black mass several kilometers away. Just seeing this scene filled one with fear from deep within. Fortunately, they were standing at a safe distance, and the zombies' attention was drawn to the Yangsheng base. Chun Lei looked at the scene, scared to the point of nearly wetting his pants, murmuring, fortunately, the zombies are only focused on the Yangsheng base. Otherwise, we would be doomed. After a while, Liang Yu stopped the car at a higher terrain than the base, convenient for pouring seawater. Zhang Yi's group quickly got out of the car. Chun Li kept murmuring, with so many zombies, can just seawater really solve the problem? He didn't believe that seawater could handle such a thick mass of zombies. Meanwhile, inside the Yangsheng base, Bing and Jun Wu already had a plan in place. He contacted Xing Tian and the others, asking them to prepare for battle. As soon as Zhang Yi began pouring the seawater, those inside the base would immediately fight back, trying to break the siege. At the same time, they would create chaos outside to assist the investigation team and the combat groups in leaving the base. Other major forces are also ready at nearby positions. With just a command from Bi and Jun Wu, they will begin to harass the zombies from the outside. Although the number of remaining personnel from the major forces is not large, they are all seasoned warriors, most of whom are captain-level mutant persons. In addition, there are the most elite fighters prepared for the final confrontation. Chang Yi's vehicle reached a position on the cliff about 4 kilometers from the Yangsheng base. From this height, looking down at the densely packed zombies below, Zhang Yi opened 2 large space portals. Immediately, 2 strong streams of water erupted, pouring straight down. The seawater was taken from a very deep area of the ocean, with an extremely high salt content. However, upon contact with the cold air at minus 60 degrees, the seawater quickly froze. The water flowing down from above instantly transformed into two glaciers, with countless white ice crystals mixed within the powerful streams surging toward the flat land surrounding the Yangsheng base. Zhang Yi turned to Chunlai and said with a smile, "Just try it out. Won't we know right away?" The leaders of the remaining bases, seeing Zhang Yi pouring water from the alternate space, fell silent, feeling both admiration and fear. Zhang Yi turned back to ask his team, "Ready?" Uncle Wang, Lion Yu, and Chunlai all nodded in unison. Water continuously poured out from the two portals of Zhang Yi, the sound of crashing waves resounding and attracting the attention of the zombies. When they turned their heads, they were immediately engulfed by the powerful tide. The group of zombies turned towards Zhang Yi on the cliff, letting out furious howls. At this moment, the zombies really weren't being commanded. They were only acting on instinct to attack the living. As soon as they saw Zhang Yi and his group, many zombies rushed towards them. But this blind attack posed no threat to Zhang Yi's team. He realized that the behavior of the zombies this time was very different from when they had a commander. They did not avoid the strong tide, showing that they no longer posed any significant threat. Quickly, a large number of zombies were swept away by the sea, causing chaos in their ranks like knocking over dominoes. The zombies behind them also began to become disordered. Zhang Yi smiled, secretly thinking, "Just as I predicted. Ha ha ha, I knew it. Kong Yi and Zhang Yixian wouldn't dare to take risks. Then let your trump cards end here." The sea quickly covered a large number of zombies. Tens of thousands of zombies fell into the ocean, struggling but unable to move towards Zhang Yi because the rising tide blocked their way. Bi and Jun Wu, observing from afar via satellite, immediately ordered, "Start the attack." At the Yangsheng shelter, the ground began to shake and cracks appeared. Soon after, dozens of large-caliber cannons slowly rose from the ground. The automated cannons began firing, targeting the thickest cluster of zombies. The shells exploded among the zombies, instantly eliminating hundreds of them. Xing Tian, Wai Dinghe, Zhang Yixian, and others also responded to Bai and Jun Wu's call, attacking the zombies from 3 different directions. The primary method of attack was using superpowers and explosives, as conventional firearms were no longer effective against this horde of zombies. In this tense situation, Wai Dinghe's superpower proved highly effective. His ability, Lord of Ice and Snow, was a combination of offense and defense. He excelled in fighting at sea and in icy environments. The seawater released by Zhang Yi had turned into a fierce glacier river, creating an ideal combat environment for him. Wai Dinghe controls the glacier, turning it into a weapon to attack the zombies and the powerful corpses accompanying them. If judged by mutant person standards, this group of zombies belongs to the enhanced type, possessing high defensive strength and speed. However, it cannot withstand the intense attacks from the ice and seawater. The glacier and seawater sweep away the zombies, quickly freezing them and preventing them from standing firm on the ground. 5 forces cooperate and coordinate their attacks, leaving the zombies unable to react. In just a few short minutes, nearly 1/3 of the zombies have been eliminated. However, everyone understands that the current situation cannot be maintained for long. Attacking with the glacier only disrupts the zombie formation and cannot completely destroy them. The disparity in numbers is too great, and if this continues for too long, when the seawater runs low, the zombies may rearrange themselves and launch a fierce counterattack. Zhang Yi says to Bai and Jun Wu, "We cannot stay outside for too long. You need to escape quickly." Bi and Jun Wu understands this and replies, "I understand." Bai and Jun Wu knew that this advantage was only temporary. They had prepared thoroughly for the breakout. In the shelter, there were over 1,000 people, mostly former oil refinery workers and their families. However, this breakout could not take all of them with them. They could only be left behind. If Bai and Jun Wu and his group won, these people could survive. If they lost, they would have to live underground for the rest of their lives. After all, this was still better than going out immediately and getting bitten to death by zombies. Bai and Jun Wu ordered, "Prepare for the breakout. Use all firepower." Xiao Hong Lion clenched her teeth, stepped forward, and said, "We only have one chance. We must make the most of it. Let's go all the way." She approached the control panel, opened a hidden dark corner, and found a hidden button. Resolutely, Xiao Hong Lion struck that button forcefully. Bi and Jun Wu could not hide his astonishment at Xiao Hong Lion's decisiveness. He thought, at most she will take out all kinds of advanced weapons, but he did not expect this woman to be so resolute. A moment later, at the Yangsheng shelter, a massive explosion erupted from the oil refinery. A blinding light illuminated the dazzling red sky, hurting the eyes. The loud bang made Zhang Yi feel as if his ears were deafened. From the ground, a mushroom cloud slowly rose into the air, shaking the entire land. Even from several kilometers away, the tremor felt like a magnitude 9 earthquake, causing Zhang Yi and his group to struggle to maintain their balance. Chang Yi widened his eyes, unable to believe what was happening before him. Oh my god, Xiao Hong Lian! She has blown up the oil refinery. The refinery was known to contain millions of barrels of crude oil, power base of Xiao Hong Lian in Tianhai City. But now she had triggered the explosion. A terrifying hot wind swept through the surroundings. At least 70,000 to 80,000 zombies had been incinerated to ashes by temperatures in the thousands of degrees. Fortunately, Zhang Yi and his team were wearing heat-resistant suits while fighting, otherwise he felt sure they would have been severely burned. Chang Yi couldn't help but exclaim, "She is truly ruthless." Xiao Hong Lian, a woman who is cruel to others, but even more so to herself. Although this action is the most prudent decision at the moment, not everyone can be so decisive. The explosion did not stop there. After the first blast came a series of other explosions. A colossal fire swept in all directions, turning the glacier into a lake. This also caused the surrounding area to melt with scalding hot water flowing. The zombies inside floated, moaning tragically. The virus in their bodies couldn't withstand the high temperatures and was quickly destroyed. Zhang Yi and his team hurriedly retreated, not daring to approach due to the powerful impact of the explosion. After about 10 minutes, the force of the explosion began to lessen, but the flames continued to blaze brightly. The surrounding area had transformed into a vast burned land, resembling a boiling lake. This explosion had directly and indirectly caused the zombie group to suffer losses of more than half. B and Jun Woo and the members of the investigation team were shocked. None of them thought that Xiao Hong Lian could take such a drastic action. In their hearts, their fear of the leader of the Yangsheng base had increased significantly. It was not only respect, but also apprehension. If a person could be so ruthless with themselves, how would they be with others? Xiao Hong Lian's eyes flashed with madness. She murmured, "Interesting." In an instant, Xiao Hong Lian decided to destroy all the crude oil in the oil depot. However, others did not know that the oil depot at the Yangsheng base was not the only one. No one would put all their eggs in one basket. She had hidden 500,000 barrels of crude oil elsewhere. Otherwise, how could she easily destroy the foundation of the Yangsheng base like that? This act was like a warrior cutting off their own hand, a sacrifice that must be made to seek a way out. Bian Junwoo looked at Xiao Hong Lian, raised his hand in admiration, and said, "To give up your own foundation for the common good, you are truly decisive." Xiao Hong Lian led the way towards the main entrance of the shelter. "Let's go, we have to leave quickly," taking advantage of the chaos caused by the zombies. Meng Sai-yu asked from behind her, "But outside has now become a vast sea. How are we supposed to leave? If we swim through the water, we will become targets for those flying armored zombies." Xiao Hong Lian gritted her teeth, and no matter how dangerous it was, she still decided, "We have to give it a try. Now is the best opportunity." Turning this place into a sea was something no one expected, but even if we anticipated it, we still have to act. Yi Ji Kang, an explosives expert and mechanical engineer on the investigation team, stepped forward. "We can temporarily assemble a canoe." Xiao Hong Lian moved up, and Zhuge King Ting hurriedly asked, "Will it be on time? We don't have much time left." Yi Ji Kang replied quickly and clearly, "I need a vehicle." Zhuge King Ting responded, "Here." Yi Ji Kang said, "Good, find a few people who understand machinery to help me." Bian Junwoo glanced at his watch and then surveyed the situation outside. He told Yi Ji Kang, "You must complete this task within 15 minutes. Although the explosion had destroyed half of the zombies, the area covered by the group of zombies in the snowy field was still too large. This meant that the number of zombies outside was hardly affected. Moreover, the zombies in the water were slowly crawling ashore. Soon, they would surround the Yangsheng base, making it much harder to leave. Yi Ji Kang quickly rolled up his sleeves and hurried to the back. "I will handle it in 10 minutes. With that, he immediately got to work building a boat from a bicycle combined with other mechanical tools. At this moment, Bian Junwoo's phone rang. Chang Yi's voice echoed, "Bian Junwoo, how are things? Are you ready to go outside?" He looked from a distance and saw that the zombies had not yet given up their intention to attack the people in the shelter. Over 100 armored zombies with gigantic wings were soaring over the lake, emitting piercing shrieks from their mouths. The large fire from the oil refinery continued to blaze, with explosions occurring from time to time. Although the blasts were no longer as terrifying as they had been at first, looking at the current flames, it would take at least another 10 days to half a month before they could fully extinguish. B and Jun Woo said to Zhang Yi, "We will leave immediately." Zhang Yi sighed lightly. "Doing so will reveal my location, but because of our relationship, I will take care of this." B and Jun Woo was an important part of Zhang Yi's plan, so Zhang Yi naturally had to help him by attracting the attention of the zombie group. This was also something that could be resolved. The fire and explosions on the other side continued, and the loud noises had drawn the attention of most of the zombies. Even though there were some zombies attacking here, Zhang Yi was confident he could deal with them all. 10 minutes later, Yi Ji Kang finally completed the simple war boat. He used the truck tires and an engine to create the boat. This boat could only carry more than 10 people. At this point, B and Jun Woo had divided a list of team members for the investigation, which included those who needed to leave. In addition, there were Seo Hong Lan, Shuj King Ting, and 2 mutant person team captains under them. After hearing Bai and Jun Woo's division, everyone nodded in agreement. Understood. When everything was ready, Bai Lai Chang King brought the war boat to the main gate. Bai and Jun Woo called out to the outside forces, "We are about to charge out, prepare to support us." The people outside hurriedly responded, "Okay, you just charge out." Once everything was set, Seo Hong Lion opened the heavy metal door of the shelter. She pressed the button, and the sound echoed through the snowy sky as the door slowly opened. Instantly, a wave of hot air rushed inside. Although they were wearing heat-resistant suits, they still felt the scorching air. There was no other way. The oil refinery was burning fiercely, and everywhere was seawater. However, the only good news was that the zombies around had also been eliminated. Bai Lai Chang King carried the combat boat down to the water. Then, more than 10 people quickly jumped on board. Time did not allow them to be slow. Yi Ji Kang assembled the boat himself, so he would be the one to control it. The engine was started, the propeller spun quickly underwater, and the boat sped off, taking them across to the other shore. The area around Yangsheng Base had now turned into a vast sea. The distance of 7 to 8 kilometers around was filled with scalding hot water, with even boiling bubbles rising up. When the boat left the range of Yangsheng Base, the armored zombies with wings waiting in the air began to dive down with a screeching sound. A loud noise echoed from afar as one of the armored zombies fell from the sky as if struck by a hammer. It was targeted by those on the boat. Above, Zhang Yi calmly changed ammunition from a high position and then continued to aim at the area below on the combat boat. Not only Zhang Yi began to take action, but everyone on the boat was also fighting back. Each person was a powerful mutant from elsewhere, and dealing with a few armored zombies was easy. However, with everyone crowded on one boat, it was really difficult to maximize their strength. Chang Yi held the gun in his hand, focused on shooting down the armored zombies flying towards the boat. But even with specially designed weapons, hitting their bodies was still hard to inflict real damage on the armored zombies. Wu Di did not want Zhang Yi to take all the glory. He also used a sniper rifle to attack the flying zombies. However, he was not a space-manipulating mutant and could not handle the recoil from the sniper rifle. After Wu Di fired, the entire boat began to shake. Bai Lai Chang King quickly stopped him. "Don't use the sniper rifle on the boat, it's inconvenient." Wu Di was pushed into a dilemma and could only throw the rifle aside. Reluctantly, he muttered, "This is really troublesome." In the air, there were more than 100 flying zombies. They flew at an extremely fast speed, except for Zhang Yi, who had the ability to snipe with superpowers. The other mutants could not achieve great effectiveness. After all, they were on the water, and their abilities could only be maximized to about 50% at best. But a bigger problem had arisen. While they focused on dealing with the enemies in the air, huge waves began to rise around the boat. The boat suddenly became sluggish as if it encountered an extremely strong resistance, like a small boat lost in a forest of seaweed, struggling to move forward. Yi Ji Kang seemed to realize something. He stuck his head out of the boat to observe. After a moment, a zombie sprang up from the water, charging at him with sharp teeth. Meng Sai Yu, standing at the bow of the boat, was also attacked. She panicked, but fortunately she reacted in time and immediately fell to the floor of the boat. Qi Guangming quickly smashed the heads of the zombies. Meng Sai Yu pointed down into the water, screaming in horror. There are zombies in the water. The expressions of everyone turned serious. They hurriedly looked down into the water. This sight made their hearts feel like they would jump out of their chests. It turned out that many zombies submerged in the water hadn't died. In fact, they had never died and were simply in a waiting state underwater. Now, as the warboat appeared, they instinctively chased and kept clinging to the sides of the boat. The zombies underwater, one after another, clung tightly. It was unclear how many zombies were crawling up with the others. It was no wonder the warboat encountered such strong resistance. Yi Ji Kang gritted his teeth and decided to increase the engine power. The propeller made a cracking sound, spinning quickly and tearing apart the zombies behind. The warboat struggled to move forward, but there were even more zombies ahead underwater. As the boat approached the shore, they could see a greater challenge on the other side. Outside the lake of the Yangsheng base, there were several 100,000 zombies intently watching them, waiting for them to advance. Among them, there were at least over 200 zombies equipped with powerful wings. At this moment, Zhang Yi, Xing Tian, Wai Dinghai, and the others were also trying to eliminate the group of zombies, drawing their attention. The zombies on the shore were temporarily unable to do anything to the investigation team under the water, but they did not let those on the shore be at ease. At this moment, they were left only with instinct and the desire to consume flesh. As soon as they detected a living person, they charged to attack. Woody gritted his teeth and raised his right hand. A massive sphere of light condensed in his palm. He told himself that he had no choice but to risk it all. At the same time, dozens of large spheres of light appeared around his body. Witnessing this scene, all members of the investigation team changed their expressions. Plasma guns were indeed an extremely powerful ability, but they also had a significant weakness. Not only did they consume superpower, but they also drained mental strength. If used excessively, it could cause irreparable damage to Woody's body. In the end, he might become a soulless corpse. Therefore, on a daily basis, Bian Jun-woo took special care of Woody, hoping he would not choose the path of self-destruction, and also restricted his use of abilities. Seeing Woody ready to risk his life, Bian Jun-woo immediately placed his hand on his shoulder. "Put your plasma gun away. It is not the time for you to take such a risk." Woody stiffened his body and suddenly shouted in anger. "In the face of such a large horde of zombies, if I don't use my powers to clear a path, how are we going to survive? Don't tell me you intend to sacrifice your life to pave the way for us." In the investigation team, the abilities of Bian Jun-woo and Woobi are very similar. They both possess superpowers that cause great harm and have a wide range, but each time they use their powers, it comes at the cost of their health. This is quite fair. To gain strength beyond that of ordinary people, they must accept significant limitations. In the current situation, Woobi wanted to use his powers because he did not want Bian Jun-woo to act, as Bian Jun-woo was in critical condition. Each time he uses his powers, his lifespan is reduced a little. Therefore, when he saw Bian Jun-woo stop him, Woody became so angry. He did not want Bian Jun-woo to die here, to die right in front of him. Bian Jun-woo said in a deep voice, "I am the captain. It is not your turn to be a hero here." Under the water, zombies are gathering towards the boat. A strange phenomenon is emerging on the lake, similar to throwing bait into a pond, where the fish quickly flock to a single point. The position of the warboat is the center of the fish cluster. If they don't get ashore quickly, they will be overwhelmed by a wave of zombies capsizing the boat. No matter how strong they are not fish. Once they sink into the water, no matter how powerful their super abilities are, they cannot be utilized. However, even if they reach the shore, there are still hundreds of thousands of zombies waiting for them. Both sides are not easy to deal with. Bian Jun-woo adjusted his sunglasses, knowing what he had to do. Bai Lai Chang King advised the leader not to rush. "Don't you see the scale of these zombies? Even with your abilities, you won't be able to create an escape route quickly. Moreover, it is clear that the zombies ahead are more dangerous than anything we have encountered. Even if you use your skills, you won't be able to carve out the way to survive in an instant." Bian Jun-woo let his hands fall. Bian Jun-woo's expression was cold, revealing a grimace. Bai Lai Chang King was not wrong. Bian Jun-woo's abilities are indeed powerful, but he's only a Delta-level mutant person and has yet to create any miracles. His strength may approach the legend level, but its use is limited and has significant side effects. Otherwise, with the ability to shoot over 10 times in a row or stronger than 10 times, he could definitely create an escape route from this hundreds of thousands of zombie army. Bian Jun-woo said nothing, but the vice captain, Bai Lai Chang King, spoke up. "Anyway, we need to reach the shore first. The current approach is clearly understood by everyone. Everyone knows that being on land is definitely not an advantage for the zombies." Everyone immediately drew on their weapons and shot down the zombies under the water. Fortunately, the underwater zombies also do not move quickly, preventing the warboat from capsizing. The external forces all have communication channels with Bian Jun-woo, so they are aware of their current situation. Wai Ding-a and Sing Tian are also feeling very helpless. They themselves are besieged by the large horde of zombies and cannot do anything else. Zhang Yi felt anxious. The group of zombies was not under his control. To control them, he needed to return to the headquarters of the Worship the Snow Sect and use Bloodvine to command the Zombie King. But right now, doing so would definitely be too late. If the investigative brute got into trouble here, the outcome was not what he wanted. He muttered curses. "Damn it. This is so damn frustrating. You should deal with the zombies and come back. Isn't that better? Why do you have to stay here and cause trouble? It's all created by yourselves." Zhang Yixian did not show a worry on his face, but inside he was extremely uneasy. At this moment, he had no way out and could only order his subordinates. "You must rescue the investigative group, at least ensure the safety of their team leader." His subordinates replied in unison, "Yes, sir." More than 10 mutant persons from the Worship the Snow Sect exerted their best effort trying to break through the zombie horde to create a path, then teamed up with Bian Jun-woo and his group. However, this was too difficult. Ordinary zombies were manageable, but among the zombies were hundreds of armored zombies with wings. If it were mutant persons with normal combat power, fighting one-on-one against these beings would be futile. Due to Zhang Yixian's excessive enthusiasm, 5 priests lost their lives. His subordinates were torn apart by the armored zombies. The cold gaze of Zhang Yixian showed no concern for this. He silently cursed. Truly useless, but it doesn't matter. After death, superpower can return to Yuan Kong Yi. Otherwise, it would be a waste of those superpowers. That isn't necessarily bad. As for Chang Yi, he called everyone to get on the vehicle-played game. This surprised everyone. At that moment, he and Uncle Wang drive the snow vehicle far away, playing a game of running around with a horde of zombies. Behind them was a dense group of zombies chasing after them, and judging by their numbers, there must be at least several tens of thousands. They screamed as they ran across the snowy field. However, despite lacking brains, they could still pierce through the bodies of ordinary people. But still, they were soulless corpses. How could 2 legs keep up with a 4-wheeled vehicle? Not to mention moving on the snow. Zhang Yi and 2 others stuck their heads out of the windows, assassinating the pursuing zombies. Chun Lei and Liang Yu used grenades to throw at and blow up the zombies. These zombies basically did not dodge, but charged straight in. Therefore, very quickly, they blew up many zombies into pieces. Zhang Yi held a heavy sniper rifle in his hands, focusing on shooting at the targets within the group of zombies. These were armored zombies, and armored zombies have wings. Seeing the brainless and thoughtless appearance of this group of zombies, a smile unintentionally spread across Zhang Yi's face. He thought to himself, compared to the beginning, these zombies are more ferocious, but also more foolish. Indeed, after losing the control of the Worship of the Snow sect, they reverted to their most primitive state. But with the current situation, what kind of ending would they ultimately face? When Zhang Yi spoke about them, he was naturally referring to Yuan Kong Yi and Zhang Yixian. They could not just stand by and watch the investigation team die. Chang Yi was unclear about how they controlled the group of zombies, but he was certain they would find a way to eliminate the zombies. In fact, Zhang Yi was mistaken about this. Yuan Kong Yi and Zhang Yixian actually had a way to control the group of zombies, but at present, that method could no longer be utilized in time. Thus, the actual situation was much more complicated than Zhang Yi had surmised. Of course, this could not be blamed on him. After all, he did not have accurate information on this matter. On the lake, the group of people had used all their strength to slowly escape the pursuit of the water zombies and were getting closer to the shore. But no one dared to relax, as right by the shore, a large number of even more terrifying zombies were waiting for them. The giant armored zombies, each one glaring with their bared fangs and claws, emitted a fearsome growl. Zhang Yixian saw this scene from afar. He was extremely worried. No, there's no time left. He suddenly flew up high, quickly heading towards the war boat. Not long after, Zhang Yixian reached the boat. Everyone looked at him with admiration for his flying ability. Zhang Yixian, with the ability to control primal, could gain the power of flight by controlling his body. Xiao Honglian asked, Zhang Yixian, why did you come here by yourself? Zhang Yixian stared at Bian Junwu and said, the zombie horde outside is too large. We essentially cannot break through. Mr. Bian, I will take you away from here first. No matter what, you must stop the Jiangnan headquarters from destroying the city of Tianhai. Zhang Yixian had completely lost control of the current situation. The reality was that they could not fully control the group of zombies and could not command them at will. In the current situation, just a little carelessness could lead to his death. Therefore, in this urgent circumstance, he decided to take Bian Junwu with him. He believed that as long as Bian Junwu survived, the situation could still be salvaged. Bian Junwu immediately realized Zhang Yixian's intention. Do you really think that saving me alone will solve this problem? Don't be so naive. Bian Junwu shouted, the Jiangnan headquarters has lost patience with the zombie problem in the city of Tianhai. If we cannot clean up this group of zombies within 24 hours, everyone will die here. Zhang Yixian's pupils suddenly contracted and he angrily shouted, what? How can this be? His gaze was one of helplessness. What kind of joke is this? There are still several 100,000 zombies here and we are exhausted. How can we handle this? Bian Junwu knows too, but he has no other choice. If he uses his skills to eliminate all these zombies, he would surely die here. He said in despair. Any other way to handle this would just be a gamble. Zhang Yixian's face was distorted and pale, devoid of any color. In his eyes, a look of malice and hatred flashed and then disappeared. He cursed inwardly. If it weren't for Bian Junwu and these people coming to Tianhai City, their big goal would have been achieved long ago, causing him and Yuan Kong Yi to end up in such a self-strangling situation. The dialogue between the two, Chang Yi and the group, was heard through Bian Junwu's communicator. Chang Yi felt strange. he sensed that the situation was not as he had predicted. Chang Yixian's tone carried urgency, not at all like someone who was joking. Zhang Yi was doubting his and Yang Xinxin's speculations. He thought to himself, what is going on? Aren't the zombies under their control? Could it be they are unwilling to sacrifice what they have painstakingly nurtured, deliberately putting on a show? Zhang Yi glanced towards Bian Junwu and muttered, Captain. Bian Junwu and his team, after a struggle, finally reached the shore, but reaching the shore was not the end of their difficulties. As soon as they landed, a fierce battle erupted. Some top mutant persons were immediately surrounded and attacked violently by a horde of zombies. They were ravenous, rushing towards the scent of fresh meat. Bian Junwu took off his sunglasses and activated his powers once more. This powerful and terrifying ability turned thousands of surrounding zombies into ashes in the blink of an eye. But immediately after, he covered his mouth, coughing violently, fresh blood dripping from the cracks. Everything has its price. If you want to be a queen, you must endure the weight of the crown. Wu Di shouted in fear, Captain! This is not the first time he has seen Bian Junwu cough so much, but recently he noticed that Bian Junwu looked pale and bloodless, which made him quite scared. There was no time to think anymore. He began to attack fiercely. Gunfire erupted in all directions. Even the armored zombies with the strongest defenses would have large holes blown in their bodies after being hit by the light orb. Instantly, a path to survival opened up right in front of them. Bian Junwu tried to suppress his physical discomfort and said to everyone, Run quickly, break out. At this moment, Zhang Yixian could no longer think much. He quickly assisted Bian Junwu's group in breaking through the encirclement. Zhang Yixian, in midair, used his willpower to drive away the zombies. Liang Yu, holding a grenade, looked over the zombie crowd anxiously and said, It seems like things are not looking good. The zombies we encountered today are more aggressive than before. We have only attracted a small portion of them, but there are still hundreds of thousands of zombies surrounding the investigation team. Can they still survive? Zhang Yi also noticed this, of course. His gaze became sharp, and the situation seemed to deviate from what he had imagined. Initially, he planned to use this incident to force worship the Snow Sect to give up controlling the zombie group. Even if Yuan Kong Yi had powerful forces, it might not be enough to confront the other four factions. However, now the situation was clearly heading in a direction that was hard for him to predict. Either worship the Snow Sect had gone mad and truly wanted to eliminate the investigation team, even all of them, or worship the Snow Sect itself would not control this group of zombies. Zhang Yi leaned towards the second possibility. He reminded himself not to think too much. Addressing the immediate issue was the most urgent matter at hand. He muttered, If there really is no other way, I will give it a try. When Zhang Yi said this, his eyes shone brilliantly, and the corners of his mouth curled into a meaningful smile. Seeing the dangerous look in Zhang Yi's eyes, Chun-Lei directed his gaze toward Zhang Yi and asked, What are you planning to do? Zhang Yi glanced at them and replied, I will use the power of the space gate, slip through, and rescue them. Upon finishing his words, he immediately opened the space gate. The range of the space gate is about 300 meters around Zhang Yi. Therefore, as long as he opens two gates simultaneously, he could easily rescue Bian Junwu's group. Moreover, the space gate does not consume energy and does not require a cooldown time. However, if he uses the space gate now, it also means he can no longer hide his superpower. Chun-Lei breathed a sigh of relief and exclaimed, You should have said that earlier. If you had done this from the beginning, you wouldn't have had to worry so much. Everyone looked after Zhang Yi, unable to help but recall the last time when they were in the subway station, Zhang Yi used the space gate to lead them out of the zombie encirclement. However, until now, Zhang Yi had never clearly stated the specific conditions for using this ability. They were completely unaware of the details regarding this superpower. After hearing this, Zhang Yi told everyone, I misunderstood when I talked about saving them. It's not the type of saving you think. Chun-Lei was surprised, not understanding Zhang Yi's point. Isn't it using the space door ability to get everyone out of the zombie group? Zhang Yi continued, The Jiangnan headquarters gives us hope that the zombie group in Tianhai Sea can be dealt with within 24 hours. It does not guarantee that everyone in the investigation team can survive. Therefore, even if I save them from the zombie group, it means nothing. It cannot prevent the Jiangnan headquarters from destruction. Zhang Yi glanced at the Rolex watch on his wrist, casually saying, Now the remaining time is less than 16 hours. The expressions of Chun-Lei and the others became serious again. Clearly, this was an impossible task. Although Xiao Hong Lion had used explosive crude oil to eliminate hundreds of thousands of zombies, the majority of armored zombies and armored zombies with wings were still alive. With the remaining hundreds of thousands of zombies, we cannot eliminate them all just by ourselves. Lion Yu held a grenade and said, From the very beginning, the so-called 24-hour deadline might just be an excuse. The Zhang Yi headquarters assess that we fundamentally cannot solve the zombie problem, so they have long planned to use nuclear weapons. That 24-hour deadline may only be to give B and Jun Woo and the investigation team a chance. Chun lay tremble, looking at Zhang Yi, urgently saying, "Leader, we should escape while we still have time. We can leave Tianhai City." Zhang Yi frowned and said, "I have said if everyone cannot do anything, I will try once. This is our last chance, and there is still time. If we fail, it won't be too late to leave." After saying this, he jumped out of the car window. With a quick movement, his figure disappeared among the zombies 300 meters away.